Hey guys, I'm Stacy and welcome to the Retro Time Machine, and today we're going to be using an offset smoker to make some smoked peach preserves.
Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a really smoky, delicious bourbon peach preserve and also a slight variation to make a red pepper peach jam. In order to smoke our peaches, we're going to need some fire. So here I'm just taking some charcoal briquettes and some large lump charcoal and go ahead and starting that in my little charcoal box. Once we get that fire going, we're going to let it burn for about 30 minutes so those coals are nice and red hot. This is some modifications that I did to my Oklahoma Joe offset smoker. I put a cookie sheet wrapped in foil to kind of deflect that heat and smoke further out into the grill, and I also wrapped 2 bricks in foil. We have had an amazing peach season here in Texas, so go ahead and pick your own if you can. You're going to need some peaches, some jars for canning, pectin, a really big pot, depending on how big you want your batch to be, sugar, a little bit of bourbon, and for variation, you're going to need some peppers, red pepper flakes, and a smaller pot. I'm also using some cherry plums to add some zing to my peach flavor. Go ahead and start by washing your produce, and we're going to halve these peaches and remove the pits. I just went ahead and did them all. They were absolutely delicious and beautiful. Some were a little harder than others and some were a little softer. So the ones that were super soft, like this guy here who kind of just fell apart in my hand, I'm tucking those away and I'm going to use those as the base in my reduction when I start cooking everything down. So you do want to set aside some peaches for cooking down in the pot to begin with and a lot of peaches for smoking on your smoker. Now that our coals are nice and cooked down and red hot, we are going to go ahead and add some applewood for smoking. I figured fruit flavor. And we're going to let this crank up to about 300 before we put our peaches on. When placing your peaches on your grill, I'm going ahead and putting the ones that are a little bit more firm closer to the heat source. That way they can cook down a little bit more, and the softer ones I'm putting farther back on the grill. Our goal is to keep these at about 250 for 25 minutes. So now I'm just going ahead and pitting these cherry plums just like I did the peaches. I'm going to be using the cherry plums in the reduction aspect. They're a little bit juicier and wetter, and I think that they're going to offer an awesome kind of tart sour flavor. So I'm just dicing them up nice and small, skins on, and then also doing the soft peaches. You can see this one's just falling apart, but it's perfect to cook down into that soupy liquid I need. So for the red pepper jam, I'm using some Jimmy Nardello peppers, some serrano peppers, I only use 2 in the recipe, and a big old orange bell pepper, diced up really tiny so you get that fleck. So the peaches have been on for about 25 minutes and you can see how juicy and delicious they have become. They are so soft and the smoke is amazing. The skins are definitely a weird color, but they'll be perfect. While I let those smoked peaches cool down, I'm just mixing up that original reduction of those cherry plums and soft peaches. We're going to be slicing these up into some large chunks. Look at how easy and beautiful those slice up. I'm going to be putting majority in this bowl, but I'm also setting some aside for some fun texture and color to mix in later. Go ahead and dump those in and we'll start cooking everything down into our delicious preserves. After letting everything cook down on its own, I went ahead and added a cup of sugar, and that's just going to help to break the cell wall of the fruit and pull out more of that liquid as it cooks down. You can see how much more soupy it is even after just a few minutes of cooking with that sugar in it. Now I did not add these in the beginning, but you're going to need about 2 tablespoons of butter and then 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. I'll make sure I add these below in the description. We're going to go ahead and add in a half a cup of sugar and let this start to cook down. Once everything starts to liquefy, you're going to want to add your red pepper flakes. I actually went back and added that much more again at the end because I wanted to amp up that spice level. Here I'm just adding some of those reserved peach chunks for that peach flavor in our red pepper jam. Go ahead and measure out about half a cup of some good old Texas bourbon, and we're gonna dump that in. I also decided to add 2 tablespoons of vanilla, which I will make sure to add below in the bio. I just think this complements that smoky flavor and also brings out some of that sweetness. I highly recommend adding a pinch of cinnamon too, but this will change the flavor profile. It's more like a peach pie versus a peach preserve. In order to gel everything up, we're going to need some fruit pectin. I'm going to measure out 2 ounces and mix it with a cup of sugar. We're going to do this twice to make sure everything is nice and thick and nice and sweet. Now that everything is cooked down to where we want it, we're going to go ahead and add in those leftover peach pieces and stir those in. And we're also going to start adding the pectin, just sprinkling in a little bit at a time and cooking it in and then adding a little bit more. So we're going to do about 4 ounces of pectin in this one, and I would say about 2 ounces of pectin in the smaller one, because we're going to be adding some of that other peach preserve into this as well. For me, this is one of my favorite parts, is the end, seeing how beautiful the finished product looks in the jars and knowing that you are almost done and it is almost time for cleanup. This smells so amazing. I can't wait for you guys to try this recipe. So we're gonna add 1.5 cups of that smoked peach preserve into our red pepper jelly and go ahead and mix that all together and put that into some cans as well. I wanted it to have a little bit of sweet, but definitely a lot of hot. You could always add more serrano peppers or more red chili flakes, but I think this turned out absolutely perfect. Go ahead and submerge your cans and boil them for about 10 minutes or so, and be very careful not to scald yourself. It's pretty easy. I recommend serving your peach red pepper jam over some goat's cheese or cream cheese and enjoying that spice and sweet with the creaminess of a nice dairy product. It's perfect for crackers and a little appetizer for a cocktail party. I couldn't stop eating this, and neither could all my friends. I love how thick and syrupy this peach preserve is, and that undertone of the bourbon with the vanilla and cinnamon, it's just hypnotic. Some people said they want to use it on like a pork marinade. Some people said they want to put it over ice cream. I really enjoyed it on a nice buttered croissant, but the possibilities are absolutely endless. I really hope this video inspired you guys to make some awesome peach preserves this summer. And like always, take care and God bless.